Hello, everyone. Dr. Vicky here, speaking to you from the Seeds to Transformation Healing Center. I wanted to do a year-end sort of wrap up and then a look ahead. So I'm going to get started with that. And to start, we're going to look at the lessons that were offered to us this year and any sort of information about that, some perspective on perhaps the purpose um, of this year. Of course, 2023, um, and I'm doing this on the second to the last day of 2023. In fact, Jupiter in Taurus just went direct and in the sign in Taurus at the 6th degree of Taurus. And the Sabian symbol for that degree speaks of building bridges to be able to get beyond and above any deep divides that we may have. And at the beginning of next month, there is the third of three exact trines with Jupiter in Taurus and Mercury in Capricorn. Both Taurus and Capricorn are earth signs, and earth signs are always practical in nature. And it is about a flow of energy. And this particular trine, which is actually the third of three, because the first one occurred and then Mercury went retrograde and created another trine with Jupiter. And now this is the last one, now that Mercury will be going direct on the 1st of January. We have this trine, and that trine is on, oh, excuse me. Oh dear. All right. That was almost a disaster, honestly. Okay. The trine between Mercury and Jupiter, where are you, darling? Is on the 19th. That's right. It's on the 19th. And the next day, we have a Sun Pluto conjunction in the last degree of Capricorn. We won't have another one of those in the last degree of Capricorn for another 230 years or so. And so it's important. And then we have the Sun move into Aquarius, and then we have Pluto move into Aquarius. And we had Pluto move into Aquarius in 2023. We got a little taste. That was sort of when we were hearing about the dangers of AI. And so this trine has Jupiter at 6 degrees, the bridge over the deep gorge. And then Mercury is at 6 of Capricorn. And the Sabian symbol for 6 of Capricorn. So this is the trine now. So this is the flow from building bridges to, let me look up 6 Capricorn here. A veiled prophet. Nope, I'm sorry. Um, 10 logs lie under an archway leading to darker woods. the need to complete an undertaking before seeking entrance into whatever is to be found beyond. Says the number 10 is a symbol of completion. It symbolizes even more the revelation of a new series of activities just ahead. Yet, unless the concluded series is brought to some degree of fulfillment, nothing truly significant is likely to be accomplished, but a restless reaching out toward as a yet unknown. Number 10 is a symbol of the germination, but the seed must have matured well. No natural process can be accelerated safely beyond certain limits. Says this represents a stage in which establishes a foundation for what will follow. Here, man reaches a threshold in which he may have to pause in order to safeguard his further advance. So there is this energy of having to do work, but there are still some things that need to be resolved. There are still some things that need to be taken care of. And this year is an 8-year. I mean, this year coming is an 8-year, and 8 is the number of manifestation. It's the number of as you sow, so shall you reap. And it is in the process of 9-year cycles, a time of harvest. The seed time for this particular series was 2017. That's when this cycle began. In 2017, the universal year was a 10, 1, the wheel of fortune, change of fortune. And many, many things have changed since 2017. Part of what we in America have been undergoing, I think, is our Pluto return. Now, some astrologers say it happened last year, or some people say it hasn't happened yet. Some people say it doesn't matter really exactly. Pluto is such a slow-moving planet, and we've really sort of been on notice since Pluto moved into Capricorn in 2008 that things, the very foundations of how we structure our society, Capricorn was about to go through a transformational process. And so that same transformational process that has been going on in Capricorn since 2008 will go on in Aquarius. We evolve through our polarity point. Whatever sign Pluto's in is the sign of the world soul. And so our collective experience within the collective is going to be described by where Pluto sits at the time and the polarity point of that. Pluto, as I said, has been in Capricorn since 2008, and it will, and its polarity point is Cancer. For those Cancers out there, I know because I'm a Cancer that it has been some pretty challenging years. Now, that's not just true of Cancer, because it's true of Aries, it's true of Libra, it's true of all of us, really. But the thing that Cancer has within it that the other signs did not was the polarity point and the direction of our evolution. How do we evolve? We go in the direction of Cancer. And what is Cancer? Cancer is a water sign. It's a sign ruled by the moon. It's a feminine sign. All water signs are feminine. It's connected to the mother. The esoteric astrologers say that Cancer is the first sign. It is the sign of incarnation, because we all come in through the body of the mother. And so as we move through this period of change and transformation, we have had to come into an appreciation for what we've been feeling, what we haven't allowed ourselves to feel in some cases. But the time comes when you have to surrender. And we've all had to surrender to a certain extent. So we're not quite out of this because Pluto goes back into Capricorn on the 1st of September and is there until the 20th of November. Of course, that's the presidential election. That's a period of time when the presidential election happens in the United States. It is a time when Kamala Harris and Joe Biden have their birthdays. I believe I checked out Joe Biden's solar return, and I think Pluto is still in Capricorn when he has his solar return. So he's still Pluto in Capricorn. Nikki Haley, who is possibly the person who's going to be there for the Republicans. I'm not sure Donald Trump is going to run. He's not going to win either. I mean, he's not going to win, definitely, but I don't know if he's going to run or not. I have a feeling he might not, and I think Nikki Haley will be the last person standing. Her sun is at 30 degrees of Capricorn. So there's a lot of players sort of around that are getting activated through this period, of course. And not to mention that the United States Pluto is still at 28 degrees of Capricorn, which is only 2 degrees away from the end of Capricorn. And so, in a way, our Pluto return is a little bit, and I say this very tentatively because it's not really at all, but in relation to the next thing I'm going to talk about, is a little bit in the rearview mirror, although I wouldn't really say that. But in comparison to the next thing that's happening in the United States chart, and that's the Chiron return. Every 52 years, Chiron, the planet slash asteroid slash comet, they're not really sure, that has its orbit between Saturn and Uranus. The rainbow, considered the rainbow bridge, Chiron, considered the wound of incarnation, the wound of abandonment. Chiron is in Aries now, and the United States has a Chiron in Aries. And so we're having our Chiron return. We have 3 exact conjunctions of Chiron to Chiron. And this is our 5th Chiron return. The number 5 is significant because it's the number of freedom. But true freedom is based on responsible action. You can't get to 5 without 4, and 4 is about building foundations. We also have the path of life for the United States. If we look at the birth of the US being the Declaration of Independence, is a 32-5 vibration. The 6 of Wands, it's a Leo vibration, and in the Tree of Life, it's located in the heart chakra or Tiferet, the Sephiroth of beauty, the Sephiroth of the sun, the Sephiroth of the higher self and the Christ consciousness. This 6 of Wands is a victory card. But victory at what cost? Add to that the shadow of the United States is also a 32-5. meaning that we have the United States is path is to heal the shadow side of freedom. What does that mean? Freedom at what cost? Who is truly free? If we're moving into an Aquarian age and we are asking to raise all boats, Aquarius is a sign of humanity. We are all equal. We don't have the same opportunities. We don't have the same education. We don't have the same lifestyles, but each human being is as precious as the next. Whether you're a Nobel laureate, Peace Prize winner, or you're the most atrocious criminal on death row, you're still a human being, even though you may not act like a human being sometimes, right? We're not going to get into that. But Aquarius is about that, is about that we're all human. And if we have this, if we have equal opportunity, which is another Aquarius idea, and we care about our fellow man and fellow woman, that we can build an ideal society. Now, that, of course, has its shadow as well. And we will come to understand the shadow of Aquarius over the 20 years that it's in. But we evolve through its polarity point, which is Leo. And what's Leo about? Leo is about the heart. It's about the heart. It's about being in your heart. It's about loving yourself, Leo, and others. Leo and Aquarius. Leo rules the heart, and Aquarius rules the peripheral vessels, the circulatory system. And so, what's the point of having a beating heart if there's no place for it to go? And without a beating heart, what's the use of having a peripheral circulatory system? We need each other. We need both parts of that. And so we're going to have to, while we're moving through a time when everybody is considered sort of on the same level, on some, theoretically anyway, that nobody's special. That could be a shadow of Aquarius. The truth is we're all special. And we're all special in the unique ways that we're special. And that's something that's going to need to be expressed while Pluto's moving through Aquarius. We cannot lose our creativity. We cannot lose our expression. We cannot lose our sense of care and consideration for ourselves and for others. And they don't necessarily have to agree with us, which can be a shadow of Aquarius. If you're not a member of the group, you get cut out and scapegoated. So we have some things, certainly we're going to have things to work out. But Chiron in Aries is the wound of the right to be, who you are, what you are, your right to define who you are. It's about life. Aries is the sign of to be. And as we move through the Aquarian age, more and more people are going to want to have the opportunity to be as well. So we need to deal with this wound. One of the wounds of Chiron and Aquarius can be the sense of exceptionalism. I think that we probably have gotten a good view of just how unexceptional America can be, as well as exceptional. But we're not exceptional without doing exceptional things or being good and honest and loving people who care about their neighbors. And that neighborhood is not just, Canada and Mexico anymore. It's a whole world of neighbors. So I could go on about this for a long time, but I'm not going to. we'll have plenty of time in 2024 to go on about that. So let's take a look at lessons of the year 2023. I'm going to be using the Thoth deck. Why not? Why not go for the gusto? All right. What are we here to learn? What do we, okay, what spirit want us to know about our experiences in 2023? I think that's how I'm going to put it. I'm going to try to do something here. We'll see how it goes. Some fancy camera work. So excuse me if it doesn't work out. Okay. Just one more shuffle. So I'm going to be on Jen Lynn's channel tomorrow. We're doing a charity event for World Kitchen. And it's going to be Jen and Johnny and Becca and a whole bunch of other readers. The owner's going to be there. Lena Rodriguez. Bunch of people. So it should be fun, and it goes on for a long time. They do all the like Eastern, Central. They go down the whole line. I'm not sure if they do Hawaii. I don't know if anybody can stay up that late. I don't think I can. But yeah, so check it out because you may see some of your favorite readers. Okay, let's try this. Let's see if I can do this. All right. Again, just bear with me. Sorry, guys. See what's going on. Oh, maybe that'll work. Actually, I think it's better this way. Okay. If you're wondering what that's around my neck, it's lapis. Okay. This is the lovely cloth that Ona gave me for Christmas. All right. First card up. The Nine of Swords, cruelty. Can you see this? Oh, okay, here we go. We'll see if this works. So it's been a bloody year. Okay, there's been a lot of cruelty. We've seen it in America. We've seen it all over the world. There isn't a place you can look where there hasn't been bloodshed in a very cruel and aggressive way. This is the card Mars in Gemini. In other decks, this is anxiety. So for those people who perhaps weren't touched by the cruelty, the physical cruelty, or weren't physically touched, we certainly were mentally touched by it and emotionally touched. Let's see the crossing card. We have the High Priestess. The challenge here is to how to stay connected to Source. The High Priestess on the Tree of Life. The High Priestess sits on this path on the Tree of Life. This is Kether, which is the crown and connected to the crown chakra. And this is Tiphereth. This is where the United States has its path of life and its shadow right there. And that's the sun, and that's the heart chakra. So when we see this card, this is the path that it's on. And so it's direct connection with spirit. And so the challenge has been that through the really difficult times is to stay connected to Source. Let's see what's underneath it. We have the Emperor. This is the 4, right? This is about dominion. This is about being the captain of your own ship. It's a foundational energy. And so to a certain extent, 2023 has been a foundational year for all of us. Okay. In the past, dominion. In the past, we had a sense of dominion. We had a sense of being in charge. We have Mars and Aries here. Notice all of these this Mars energy. This is a Mars card. This is a Mars card. And this is a Mars card. And Chiron is in Aries. And so there is the wounded masculine that we're dealing with here. And the permutations of that. In the sky, strength. This is also a card of healthy boundaries. And so Spirit saying that you have been strong and you've been holding your ground, and it's not always easy to do that. The Magnus. This is the lesson, perhaps, of the year. The Magnus is about focused intention. The Magnus uses all the elements, fire, intuition, water, feelings and emotions, sword, the mind, pentacle, the physicality, the actual doing stuff physically, focusing and taking steps. Okay. So this is really the lesson of 2023, according to these cards. How it's seen from space, we'll say. Transformation. We are going through a transformational process. And in that process, it's required to let go of that which no longer serves. Now, for many people, this was actual death, leaving the planet because of all the war and like domestic situation here, indolence. This is Saturn in Pisces. Saturn is in Pisces now. Okay. Saturn doesn't move out of Pisces until 2026, I think. Okay. Of the domestic situation. Indolence can be laziness, it can be just not wanting to move, feeling stuck and morass and the like. Hopes and fears. This is more strife. I think this is a fear. Well, there are people who do want to create strife or have created strife, we could say. And the outcome is the sun in Aries. A lot of Aries here, guys. The sun in Aries speaks to us of being and being you in the I am consciousness. This is called virtue. So the Three of Wands. This is a 2911 vibration in the system I use. Three of Wands. It's an 11 and it's located on the Tree of Life here in Bina. Bina is the place of the dark night of the soul. And we have moved through the dark night of the soul. In fact, the 7 year that we have just been through is right here on the Tree of Life, connecting Bina, the Sephiroth of Saturn, which is restrictive, right? Dark night of the soul, with Gabura, the Sephiroth of Mars, the spiritual warrior, but also Mars, difficult energy in Mars. This is a challenging, but this is the path of the chariot. And in the chariot, it's where our soul embodies through the physical body and creates a vessel for the soul to work through. And that is our physical body. And I pick one more to see if I get a major arcana. And we end it with temperance. In this deck, it's called art. This is alchemical. This is the combination of water and fire. It is a spiritual initiation. And on the tree of life, it is located on this path right here. Okay. The one that's not colored. That's the path of the temperance card. It is the path of the mystic. It's where we connect our lower self with our higher self. And the road is very straight and narrow. And the road has been very straight and narrow. We haven't had a lot of latitude this year. Okay, so that's the year. That's what the year was there, the function of it, for us to have dominion, to move through this time of great change. Okay, let's try this again. And see these ones. Oh, let's see. Oh, explicit. That's what's above my head. That's one of the reasons I like to stay here. Michael published notes up there. I know some of you guys have seen them, but if you wonder why I'm always in the cubby, that's one of the reasons. So I have the planets above me. Uh, okay, so it's about balance. It's about focus. It's reminding us that we are co-creative with spirit. Now, 2024 is an 8 vibration. On the tree of life, it's this line here. And energetically, it's associated with the throat chakra. So this is an opportunity for us to speak our truth. But the throat chakra energetically is the place where the ego or the personal will steps aside for divine will. And so when we shine our light, when we are who we are, without uh, without expectation, without um, feeling that we have to be somebody that maybe we don't feel on the inside, but we do it anyway because we don't know how else to be. If we're ourselves and we express ourselves in the highest vibration that we can muster, and we can't always be on high vibration. Sometimes, you're driving down the road and somebody cuts you off and all the F-bombs come flying, especially if you're from New Jersey like I am, and just sort of comes out. So that has to be, forgive yourself for dropping a few F-bombs. I'm sure there'll be many this year. All right, so let's take a look at the year ahead. Quick look at the year ahead. What do we need to be aware of for the year ahead? Now, I'm using a new deck. This is a deck, new year, new deck. This is a deck that was given to me as a gift. And I haven't done a reading with it yet. I did pick a card. We'll see if that card comes up. But and I'm not familiar really with the deck, but sometimes I like to use a deck I'm not familiar with because then you simply go by the images you see, and it's a little bit more intuitive in that respect. Okay, give me one more. Maybe a couple more. I always feel bad that I don't like do this before, but all right. 2024. Show me 2024, Spirit. 2024. What's ahead? 2024. Okay. Whoops. Oh dear. That was almost a disaster. I saved myself. Okay, let's just do something. Okay, good. All right. We start with the Eight of Wands. First of all, we're starting with an 8, which is interesting because we're in an 8-year. The Eight of Wands speaks to information coming in. We have a squirrel. Squirrel collects the nuts, right? Squirrel gathers, saves for winter. This little squirrel has a halo around it, symbolizing an open third eye. This is a Sagittarius vibration. It's Mercury in Sagittarius, which is very interesting that we start with this card because Mercury starts the year retrograde in Sagittarius, and by I think 8 o'clock at night Eastern, it's gone direct. So it goes direct in Sagittarius. If you want to know more about that, you can check out my astrology and Kabbalah. I'm going to just put this light up a little because I'm noticing the camera's having trouble focusing. Okay. You can check out my Kabbalah, astrology Kabbalah of January. So we start with a ton of, and we said something else, a ton of information being downloaded, right? Also, information, we've been waiting to hear stuff about stuff, all that stuff. It's all coming. It's coming in fast and furious information. The challenge is the Seven of Pentacles. I'm sorry, the Seven of Wands. Keeping your perspective. This is about knowing who you are and what you stand for. So that's the challenge with all this information coming in. Underneath it is the Six of Wands. The Six of Wands. This looks like maybe a crane flying or a heron. Giving perspective, the high view, perhaps. This is the path and the shadow of the United States. So we're at the root is this Chiron energy that I talked about, Chiron and Aries. In the past, the Magician. There's a sense of maybe being manipulated, okay, in the past. This can also be a realization of the value of focus, okay? So this, if we're going to call this the past, we could call this the 7-year, right? Focused intention. Where attention goes, energy flows. If you focus your attention on what you want, that's where the energy goes. If you focus your attention on all the terrible things that are happening, not to say you shouldn't be aware of them, but there's a difference between being aware and focusing to the point of obsession, or you can't get out of your head, or you're losing sleep, or any of that stuff, right? That's not going to be good. And the Magician in the past is saying, you know that. So focus on what you want to create. In the sky, we have the sun. The sun. A full illumination. We're going to see things, but it's also an energy of rebirth and new birth and revelation. This year is a year of revelation as we all connect with our divine will or our throat chakras via the path of Leo between the Sephiroth of Hesed, which is expansion, and Gebura, which is subtraction, a balance between those two, growth and cutting away, right? Growth and cutting away, or cutting away and growth. Okay. Last year it wasn't so much about growth, but we have growth in this year. In the immediate future, we have the Emperor. So this is dominion. It was at the root of the last year's reading, and now it's in the position of the energy of the moment, the future, the future, the future, the future. It's also in Aries vibration. Not only is Chiron in Aries, guys, but so is the North Node. And there is a point where the Chiron conjuncts the North Node. And there is a point where Mars conjuncts the North Node in Aries. And there's a point where Chiron and Mars conjunct in Aries. It's all going to be important. How it's seen from the outside, the Empress, the Empress. We are creative, imaginative, verdant creatures. We manifest, and we manifest through love. This is a Venus card. So we have the divine masculine in Aries, and we have the divine feminine in the Empress. I mean, in the Emperor and the Empress. The two, of course, most powerful cards associated with gender, I guess we could say. In our domestic situation, we have the seer of air. The seer of air. I don't know what the seer is. Well, let's take a look at it. Let's see what we see. What kind of bird is this? Can you even tell? Can't really tell. It's flying away. See that? But we see that giant eye. And we see all these feathers flying. So there's going to be a lot of feathers flying this year. Oh dear. Can I look this up? I feel bad. Let me see if I can see this. These source of it. So that must be the female. Scout. Okay. So this is the night. This is the night. So the Knight of Swords has a tendency to just, as we say in Jersey, balls to the wall. Jumps in and can create chaos, or can be righteous. So there's going to be a combination of people who are doing it for the right reasons and people who are too impulsive and don't think about the consequences of what they're doing. I think there's going to be a balance, a blend of that this year. So it's, we're going to make some great moves, and we're going to make some, like, why did we do that kind of moves? But we do need to be aware that we need to be aware of the karma associated. This actually, in the system I use, is an 8 vibration, so 53-8. And we're in an 8 year. And so when you're in an 8 year, your karma's king, queen, emperor, empress. As we sow, so shall we reap. As I said, what we sowed back in 2017 is coming. We're harvesting that now. So if you have done good things in those years, I wouldn't worry too much. If you've been naughty, like certain mango colored ex-presidents, I might be concerned. We have the Two of Wands here in the hopes and fears. This is a kind of a card of Well, in this deck, it looks like a card of protection. There's an armadillo sort of curled up. They carry their armor on their back, as it were. Um, but it is a time of waiting. And perhaps some of us are tired of waiting, but it is a time of waiting. It's a time of just about ready to like move forward, right? It's a planning time. It's a time of planning. So hope and fear, planning, plan. Outcome, the student of air. This is the page. This speaks of keeping your ears open to the wind. More feathers, see all those feathers in this floating around there. Let's see, what do we have here? This is an orchid. Looks like an orchid. I think it's the most varied type of flower, like the most kinds of blank are orchids. It's going to be a real learning period of time. In fact, it may be a time for you to start a new something that you've been interested in learning about. This might be a really good year for that. Let's see if we can get a major arcana. The student of earth. This, as with the student of air, is starting, it's about manifesting, but like the first steps in manifesting something. This is also a student card. Well, it's a student card. It says student, but it is a card of student. The Four of Wands. This is well, it's a bee, and we know a bee are, first of all, they're all pretty much all girls except for the drones, right? But the workers are all women. The queen, of course, is a woman. Well, female, I should say, woman, honestly. What am I saying here? But the bees are about community, and this is about working together. It's also a Democrats card. So if you're wondering who's going to be at the end of who's going to come out on top, it is the Democrats. It's true. Okay. But there's a lot of problems, and we have a lot of problems to work out. So it's not like it's going to be a miraculous, oh, the Democrats are and everything's better. No, it's going to take a lot of effort. And we have the Three of Wands, which is the same card that came out at the end of 2027, the Three of Wands. This is waiting for our ships to come in. It's a 2911 vibration. It's a Bina vibration. Dark night of the soul, yes, but it's within the darkness that we find the inner light. And it is about virtue and rewards and the birth of light. And so it's really a wonderful card to end with, honestly. Let's look underneath. We have the Five of, is this Cups? Yeah, the Five of Cups. Oops. Five of Cups. This is a little, um, this is really about loyalty to yourself. We can, we do have to mourn our losses, but we also have to move on. The source of earth, this is the mother of earth. This is the queen, the sustainer of the earth. This is a need to live a more sustainable life underneath it all. A lot of the sorrow that we're gonna face may be due to climate change issues. It may not have anything to do with the war, although I have to believe that there's probably quite a bit of that too. And then the student of fire, which is the page of wands. This is the messenger from spirit. And so we have to remember to be loyal to one another, even through the sorrow. We need to live on it. We need to live on this planet like it's not our last day, but that there is a future. And we need to keep our ears open to spirit. So what I want to say about what these cards feel like to me is that it feels like we're making a whole lot of progress this year, and there are things that are going to be really amazing and wonderful. But there's also this backdrop of conflict that we do have to uh, work through, live through, without losing our connection. Now, one more card, and this is from a deck that I bought for myself. It's by my favorite artist, one of my favorite artists, Emily Balavet. It's called the Mystic the Mystic Sisters Oracle deck. And the art, of course, she's my favorite, is beautiful. And I'm going to pick a card for 2024 for us. And this is a message from the Mystical Sisters, of which I like to think of myself as one. In fact, I was talking to Ona, and I'm like, why don't we just call ourselves the Mystical Sisters? And you don't even have to be, I mean, you don't have to, we're not actually related. So we're not actual like related sisters. So you don't have to be related. You don't even have to be a woman. You don't have to be, you could just be, anybody can be a mystical sister because we all have a feminine side. You just have to get into your feminine side when the mystical sisters get together. All right. Next. Look, is this a beautiful, look at this art. Interesting that her dress, right? If you do this, looks like Aries, Sun and Aries, Sun and Aries, Sun and Aries. To be, to be or not to be, that is the question. Now, I have to read the book. I'd like to think I know what that means. I mean, I sort of, she's the goddess of the night, that I know, but I don't know what this artist is thinking with this one. So let's see. Mystery and the unknown. All right, let's see. Nyx, the Greek goddess of the night, beckons you to relax with the great mystery of the cosmos. She is a shadowy figure who thins the veil to magical realms. She's the high priestess, right? It is said that those who worship her would do so at night in complete darkness. Dark nights of the soul, huh? Nyx reawakens our sense of wonder and awe of the unknown. She urges you to relax and find peace with the deep mysteries. She calms us when we become anxious over things we cannot know. We often become so involved with the day-to-day mundane tasks that we forget the deep magic at work behind the scenes. Synchronistic events, strange coincidences, powerful intuitions, and epiphanies through dreams are more likely to occur and help you to restore your faith in the mysteries of the universe. So we definitely want to pay attention to our dreams. And 2024 is the last year for another 150 years, maybe. Um, that that Neptune is going to be in Pisces for the whole year. And that's very much a Pisces energy, that card. So, and so it goes, and so we go, and we will go through this journey together. I want to thank you for all your support, for all the new clients I've met. It's been a real pleasure to get to know you through your charts. To my students who really, I, they don't just support me because they, get a class from me, but they support me knowing that this is what um, I'm here to do. And I have really no greater joy than teaching what I know. And this year coming, I'm going to be having a couple of uh, classes. I'm endeavoring to create a channel on YouTube and work a little bit more with my Patreon. I have to kind of figure out which is the best way to go. Um, I'd like to have the opportunity for my students who have taken my classes to have a place where they can go and study. Um, and I'm not sure if that's going to be on Patreon or on YouTube yet. So I will keep you posted on that. But I am having a beginner's astrology class again, and I'm having a introduction to the Kabbalah. You would need to take, if you're interested in studying Kabbalah with me, that is a class you would have to take. Um, there's usually a part one and a part two. So it's two classes, two series of classes. They're 6 weeks each. Um, and then once you've taken those, then you can move into studying the Kabbalah. And again, I'm not sure if that's going to happen on Patreon or if that's going to happen on YouTube, but I will keep you informed about that. All right. Okay, guys, I'll see you tomorrow night at the hopefully on Jen Lynn's channel. I'll see you in the morning. Um, and I will I just want you to know how grateful I am for you, for the other readers that have befriended me, for my good friend Ona, for my good friend Denise, for my good friend Marianne, and for I shouldn't mention people's names because there's so many, but especially those, and for Cash Peters, I want to give a special shout out to Cash. He was so gracious with me, and it really helped. It really helped me for him to mention me, and I have to say, if I'm worried about something, I just listen to see what Cash says about it because the man is phenomenal. All right, guys, take care. Have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you again soon. Namaste.